Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm here today with a new kind of style of video. Where I'm basically going to be testing one product, doing like the first impressions, applying it, seeing how I feel about it, and then giving you guys like my verdict from first go. And I'm gonna hopefully be doing like one of these a month from like the new year onwards, but I just really wanted to give this a go. I just think it's quite cool when you can just kind of take one product that's either been really hyped up or that you really wanted to try, or that's a little bit more expensive, and you can really test it out and see what it's like. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So let's introduce the product to you. So today I'm going to be testing out the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra-Longwear Foundation. Ultra long name, basically. But basically it is described as their longest running foundation. It's been hyped up quite a lot. It's gotten some real rave reviews. On Space NK it's got about 4.5 stars, and Tati from US, she's a US YouTuber who's like insane. She really rates this, she really likes it. And to be honest, like the whole description of the foundation just called to me. It was like everything I want a foundation to be. And I have been trying a few different drugstore foundations, I've been trying a few different ones, and I just haven't found any that I really like. I really love my Dior Forever foundation, but I wanted to just try something a little bit new, so I thought I would pick this up. So we're going to be applying this today to the face, so I will zoom you guys in a little bit. And we're going to apply it. I'm going to do one side of my face with a sponge, one side with a brush to see how it applies, kind of let you know how it goes on. I will then put the rest of my makeup on so we can see how it all kind of goes over the top and how it finished, what the finish is like, everything like that, and then give you my verdict. And then what I will be doing is doing a post in a couple of days just to kind of let you know how it wore throughout the day on my blog. So I'll link the blog itself below, but go and check that out in a couple of days to see what the kind of verdict is after kind of wearing it for a couple of days. So yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit of a lowdown of the product. And yeah, let's get into like the details before we get into the application. So first of all, I love the packaging. It is beautiful. Like the lid has got like this little like zebra print style to it. It's like one of those frosted glass, like everything I love about packaging is super luxe. But anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty. So this is the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. It retails for £35 in the UK, so it is a higher end foundation. I got this from Space NK. I've also got this in the shade 2N1 Cashy, so I did get tested in the store and it looked pretty good in the store, but what I have found is when you do get kind of colour matched in Space NK, because their lights are so bright, sometimes it can look a little bit different when you go into natural light. But I did notice that when they left it on throughout the day, it still looked good, so fingers crossed it still looks awesome. In terms of the foundation itself, it is a liquid foundation. It's meant to give medium to full coverage. It's meant to give a matte finish as well. So we're going to try all of these bits out, but basically I love anything matte, I love anything that's medium to full coverage, and I like anything, liquid foundations are kind of like my favourite formula. They're the ones that I definitely prefer. So we will see what this is like. They do recommend applying it with a sponge. I'm going to be doing half the face with a sponge, half the face with a brush, just to kind of compare, and we'll see what it's like. So that's the product description, so let's get down to the application and trying all of that fun stuff out. So let's zoom you guys in a little. Okay, so before I put the foundation on, I'm just going to be putting on my favourite primer, which is the Kiehl's Micro Blur Skin Perfector. It just smooths everything, keeps everything really nice, keeps everything in place, and it is my favourite primer, and it's the one I always go back to. So I thought if I'm going to be testing out a new foundation, I need to use kind of like my go-to primer. I know how like products are supposed to behave on top of this and everything like that, so that's what I would always recommend if you're testing out a new foundation or a new base. Always try and test it with like your normal face of makeup, because then you can really compare how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to feel. So cool, right, let's get started. So I'm basically just going to put a pump of this onto the back of my hand. We'll do like a couple of pumps. So that is about 3 pumps on the back of my hand. Now you can see it's quite a liquidy foundation, but it's not running, which I think is quite good. So it's still like a little bit of a thicker consistency, so I think it's going to go onto the face really nicely. Cannot see anything in that mirror. I'm going to take a damp sponge, and I'm going to do half the face with that. It's going on like quite nicely. I am noticing around dry patches here, it's just kind of clinging to those a little bit. It's also drying down really quickly, so I'm having to work quite fast to try and like blend in the product. The only other thing I would say is this shade is a little bit too yellow toned for me. I'm generally more of a pink, have more of a pink kind of undertone. I was expecting a little bit more coverage, to be honest. I don't think it's given as much coverage as I thought it would. Strange, I thought it would give more. Let's just kind of see how layerable that is. I mean, it layers nicely, it's not like moving around. It doesn't seem to be sitting on my skin too nicely. It looks a little bit patchy, so I'm going to use the brush on the other side of my face. I'm sort of using my Real Techniques buffing brush to kind of see how that compares. And I just need some more, because 3 bumps was really a little amount of foundation. I'm just glad it comes with a pump, to be honest. Okay, that was a bit too much product, but that's actually giving the kind of level of coverage that I would want, so. I feel like it did apply better with a brush. I'm definitely preferring the finish with a brush. It's not looking as cakey or as patchy, and it's just giving a little bit more even coverage with a brush, which is a lot better. So I'm just going to do all of it with, just kind of finish off with the brush basically. I can see better in this mirror. Okay, so I definitely prefer the application with a brush. I feel like it's just gone on a lot smoother, it's gone on a lot more even, it's blended into the skin a lot better, and it's given that little bit more coverage than with a sponge. Yeah, and just in this area here where I am a little bit dry, it's kind of clung a little bit, just in that general area. I'm not super pleased with how it's sitting on my skin at the moment. It just seems to be not patchy, but you can see it. Like, I don't know how to describe, but it just looks like there's like little dots of foundation in certain areas, like around the lips here, on the nose. It just seems to be kind of emphasizing my pores, which is strange because with the Kiehl's Microburst Skin Perfector, usually that really smooths all my pores, so I'm not sure. Like, from like far away, the skin looks very flawless, it looks really nice, it looks really matte. It's kind of exactly how I want a foundation to look. Up close, I'm not sure. Don't know. I feel like I want to add just maybe another kind of layer just to see how buildable it is in the areas like where I need the most coverage. So we're just gonna do some more on the cheeks. So I do think the shade is more on the yellow tone side of things, and I am more pink, so it wouldn't have been my choice of colour if I was like doing myself, but I need to learn not to trust the people in Space NK when they're swatching me, because not once that I've had it done have they got it right, so, and that's in different ones. Okay, so it's looking a little bit better with that extra coverage, and actually it's looking a lot smoother. Yeah, that looks so much better with like a little bit of extra coverage. Just go over the eyes a little bit just to smooth those out. Okay, I'm much happier now that I've added like an extra coat on. It looks much nicer. In terms of the colour, slightly too yellow tone for me, but actually it's the right lightness. I feel like if it had a little bit more pink tone it'd be fine, but actually even though I think it's slightly yellow tone, it matches quite well. So I'm glad with the colour match. The finish is looking a lot nicer and a lot smoother and a lot more even. Now I've put a good kind of 2 or 3 coats on top, and the coverage is actually looking pretty good. Blend that down the neck. So yeah, so first impressions, I'm on the fence. Like, I feel like I had to put like 2 or 3 layers on to get a smooth application, and although it does actually recommend that you use a sponge, I found using a buffing brush was better, and it gave a much more even coverage. It does dry quite quickly, so you do have to work quite quickly and you have to blend in quite quickly when you are using this product, so that is just something to keep in mind. But now that I've kind of built it up, I do quite like the finish of it. It's looking a lot smoother. I think if you had dry skin, don't go for this, because I have a very dry, like a slightly dry patch here, and it's just clinging onto those patches. So I feel like if you do have dry skin, then you really don't want to go for this. But if you have normal to oily, I think this could be quite nice. So I'm just going to go in with the rest of my makeup and see how everything kind of sits and blends on top. Just using my normal everyday products, so nothing new here, just because I really want to see how things sit. So, okay, so having put the rest of like my face makeup on, it does look really nice. Everything is going over the top quite nicely. It's making everything else look very flawless, which I like. I think flawless is definitely the word for this foundation, and it is matte, but it doesn't look cakey, which I like. Okay, so we are done. We have the final look done. So I've put all of like the rest of my makeup over the top of the foundation. We're kind of seeing how it's now sitting. Looking at it, I am really pleased with it. I feel like it looks very flawless. I feel like having flawless in the name of it is, you know, pretty true. It does just make everything look very flawless, very kind of nice. It doesn't seem to be caking up anywhere. Foundation does dry down quite quickly, so I think because it does that and it is dry, like you're not risking your other products kind of like going into the foundation or melting. It just blends everything else quite nicely and it sits on top. I'm going to be really interested to see how long this will last and how long it wears. It does say it should last about 15 hours. I'm not going to keep it on my face for 15 hours because no. But I will kind of let you know how it goes. Like editing, we will put something around here to say how well it lasted, and I will be doing a full review on the blog in a couple of days. But first impressions, I like the finish of it. Definitely apply it with a brush as opposed to a sponge. I just found that the sponge left things very uneven. Didn't really finish it off quite nicely. Whereas the brush really helped it to kind of blend out, smooth everything and create a really nice even finish. I think I ended up using about 6 pumps to do my entire face. And usually with foundations or liquid foundations I need maybe like 2. So I don't know if the pump just gives out a little bit or you just need a lot to get the kind of coverage that you want with this. I was slightly surprised at the lack of coverage that came out through the first kind of coat and the first kind of use, but I mean it's very buildable. It's very easy to build on top of itself, so generally that's really nice. I think first impressions, I like it. I'm obviously going to play around with it a little bit more, but I think for a high-end foundation it did a really good job. It definitely looks and feels like the Dior Forever foundation. However, I will say the Dior foundation clings a little bit onto dry patches a bit more than this does. So yeah, I'm quite glad I picked this up. I'm excited to wear it more and try it out a little bit more, and I will keep you guys updated. But so far, really like it. First impressions are good. And yeah, we will see. So I hope you liked this kind of video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know what other products you'd like to do. There is an eyeshadow palette on my list that I really want to do a first impression video on. But if there's anything else you want to see me do, then let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all again on Thursday for my last video in November and the last video that is not going to be Christmas themed for the rest of the year. So I will see you all then. Bye.